Every single team, and of course their fans, come into the season with high hopes, but for one reason or another, those dreams don't always come to fruition.
There's been no quarterback that has completed fewer passes than Anthony Richardson.
So today, let's take a look around the league and call out every NFL team's biggest disappointment so far in 2024. Arizona Cardinals, Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvin Harrison Jr. came out of Ohio State as far and away the most hyped non-quarterback prospect, and fans expected him to be the next game-changing wide receiver. But here we are, halfway through the season, and while he's had a couple of impressive games, he just hasn't been the consistent weapon that the Cardinals had hoped for. Atlanta Falcons, Kyle Pitts. The Kyle Pitts experiment continues to be a roller coaster of potential and frustration. He's had flashes of brilliance mixed with inconsistency, leaving the Falcons wondering if he'll ever become the weekly threat that they had envisioned. Baltimore Ravens, defensive inconsistency. With Lamar Jackson playing MVP caliber football, the Ravens are very serious Super Bowl contenders. There's no doubt about that. But they're going to need to make sure that that defense is properly shored up because that unit has been wildly unpredictable. Buffalo Bills, secondary woes. The Bills' secondary has been okay in stretches, but for the most part, it has been rather shaky and not a bona fide strength like it used to be, as they have been plagued by injuries and inconsistent play. Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young confirmed bust in year 2. Granted, the expectations weren't exactly sky high after such a challenging rookie season, but drafting Bryce Young was supposed to be the turning point, the move to get Carolina back on track. But his rookie season quickly deteriorated into a complete disaster. Fans, however, were hopeful that he'd be able to turn it around this season, but it's just largely been more of the same, as the former number 1 overall pick has been overwhelmed by blitzes, missed on big throws, and generally has just struggled to adapt to the pro level. Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams' inconsistency. Caleb Williams came in with a college highlight reel that had Bears fans buzzing, but NFL defenses play the game at a different level from the college boys. He has had some dazzling plays, but his deep ball and pocket awareness have been shaky, and the Bears offense has been unexpectedly muted for most of the season. Cincinnati Bengals, slow start. Another slow start for the Cincinnati Bengals, and man, was this one a disappointment. The fans in Cincy were so jazzed up for Joe Burrow to be back in action. But come on, Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow can't carry the whole team. The Bengals' inability to close out tight games has become a glaring issue, as all those losses continue to pile up, putting their postseason hopes in serious jeopardy. Cleveland Browns, ownership trying to get their money's worth with Deshaun Watson. The Cleveland Browns made a significant investment in Deshaun Watson, signing him to a fully guaranteed 5-year, $230 million contract in 2022, which, as I'm sure we're all aware of, has been a complete and unmitigated disaster, both on the field and in the court of public opinion. But rather than cut their losses and just accept the sunk cost, the owners have forced Stefanski and co. to keep trotting the quarterback out there, despite the fact that he was clearly not able to hack it anymore. Dallas Cowboys, running game. Dak Prescott's big numbers with CeeDee Lamb haven't been enough to turn the Cowboys into contenders. Dallas has really struggled to find consistency in a competitive NFC East, and their absence of a running game is a big reason as to why. Denver Broncos, wide receiver play. Thrown into the fire, Bo Nix has shown resilience, but not without some growing pains. The rookie QB has had moments of brilliance, but the offense's inconsistency has been evident, as a large part of that is the wide receiver's inability to get separation, as well as create opportunities for Nix to get the ball downfield. Detroit Lions, defense's injuries. The Lions have absolutely been a force offensively, and their defense is playing great ball. But the loss of Aiden Hutchinson is a crushing disappointment for a team with serious Super Bowl aspirations. Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love's injury. Although backup Malik Willis has filled in admirably, Jordan Love's injury has interrupted all of his momentum and created challenges in Green Bay's pursuit of the Lions in the NFC North race. Packers' young core is holding on its own, but they're gonna need Love back at full strength if they want to make a true playoff push. Houston Texans, protection issues for CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud has shown that he can play at this level, but his offensive line is putting him at risk on nearly every single snap. Houston's near the bottom in sacks allowed, and Stroud's taken a beating week after week. Indianapolis Colts, Anthony Richardson. You know things aren't going well with your top draft pick when you turn to an ancient Joe Flacco to take over the reins at this point in the season. But that is precisely the state of affairs in Indianapolis right now. It's starting to look like the Colts may have to move on from Anthony Richardson entirely soon. Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Trevor Lawrence's regression. Trevor Lawrence was supposed to take the Jaguars to all new heights, but his season has been a huge disappointment. Jacksonville's offense looks completely out of sync, and Lawrence's struggles have left the team grasping at straws in what could have been a winnable AFC South. It's just so frustrating. Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes' interceptions. Patrick Mahomes is still terrifying defenses. There's no denying that. But he's also leading the league in interceptions, a stat that is quite uncharacteristic for him. That said, the Chiefs remain unbeaten, so this is really just nitpicking. But it will be interesting to see as the season wears on if water returns to its level and Mahomes' precision improves. Las Vegas Raiders, Antonio Pierce in over his head. When the Raiders turned to Antonio Pierce, there was a spark, a fresh start that fans hoped would be a reset for this franchise. But the harsh truth of NFL head coaching has quickly set in. Pierce might be a motivator, but as the weeks go by, it's becoming painfully clear that his inexperience is beginning to take a toll. Los Angeles Chargers, wide receiver play. This was supposed to be Josh Palmer's big moment, his chance to turn the Chargers receiving core into more than just the Allen and Williams show. With both Keenan Allen and Mike Williams out of the picture, Palmer had a prime opportunity to step in and prove that he could be more than a WR3. Unfortunately, he just has been nowhere to be found for most of this season. Los Angeles Rams, playmakers' health. While Matthew Stafford's health was a question mark coming into this season, it was actually his playmakers that have been the problem. And not just the elder statesman Cooper Kupp, but also his much younger running mate Puka Nacua. Needless to say, it is affecting the Rams' consistency. Miami Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa's injuries. The Dolphins knew what they were getting into with Tua Tagovailoa. The talent is absolutely there, but durability has been a question from day one. And this season, it is the elephant in the room in Miami. Coming off multiple concussions over the past few years, Tua's health is more than just a subplot. It is the storyline that could make or break this team's season and maybe even its future.
Will you wear a Guardian cap?
Nope.
Why?
Personal choice.
Minnesota Vikings losing Christian Darrisaw. Christian Darrisaw's injury has been a major blow to the Vikings' offensive line. Without their star tackle, Minnesota's protection has a big question mark, and while they haven't completely nosedived, it really does seem like it's affecting Sam Darnold's ability to make plays. New England Patriots, Jared Mayo's growing pains. Jared Mayo took over a challenging situation, stepping in for a legend Bill Belichick. And while he's injected energy into the team as of late, there's still a long ways to go. The offense has been very limited, and the defense, while impressive in spurts, has been inconsistent. New England's future looks very uncertain, and Mayo's job isn't getting any easier as he tries to keep the Patriots competitive in a tough AFC East. New Orleans Saints, Derek Carr's struggles. The Derek Carr experience in New Orleans has not exactly been the revival story that Saints fans were hoping for. Coming in, Carr was supposed to be the steady hand to guide this offense, a seasoned QB with the grit and arm to lift the Saints back into contention. But instead, it has been a carousel of injuries, and New Orleans is left wondering if they'll ever see the Carr that they signed up for. New York Giants, Daniel Jones' benchings. Daniel Jones' time in New York is almost definitely up, as he has already been benched once this season. The Giants' offense has struggled to put points on the board, and Jones' horrible play has only added to their woes. New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers' underperformance. Despite high hopes for the season, the Jets' gamble on Aaron Rodgers has been a huge letdown. Even with the reunion with Devontae Adams, Rodgers just hasn't found his rhythm. The Jets are slipping out of playoff contention, and the future Hall of Famers' play has been a major reason as to why. Philadelphia Eagles, struggles in the secondary. While the Eagles have started to pick up their level on both sides of the ball, their Achilles heel has been opposing offenses that are just able to expose their secondary on the regular, making it clear that this group just isn't quite living up to the reputation that the Eagles have on defense. Pittsburgh Steelers, George Pickens' inconsistency. George Pickens is that guy, electrifying, unpredictable, and sometimes, well, a bit of a wild card. Steelers fans have had a front row seat to the Pickens' talent and his antics this season. And while the former makes him a game changer, the latter, well, let's just say it's a bit of a mixed bag. San Francisco 49ers, Brandon Ayuk's absence. As if his initial holdout weren't bad enough, now Brandon Ayuk's season-ending injury has been a major blow to the 49ers, especially considering the fact that Christian McCaffrey just has not been available to spearhead that rushing attack. Seattle Seahawks, defensive letdowns. The Seahawks defense has been a major disappointment this season, struggling to contain opponents in key situations. Despite the team's strong start, defensive lapses have cost them games and put them behind the 8 ball in a winnable unbeatable NFC West. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, wide receivers injury. The Buccaneers knew that losing Mike Evans and Chris Godwin for any stretch would be a challenge. But this season, the toll has been rougher than expected, especially knowing that the latter is going to be out for the year. Tennessee Titans, Will Levis just ain't the guy. It's clear that Will Levis isn't quite living up to the billing. After having some early excitement last year, yeah, you see flashes of potential in some throws, but the mistakes and turnovers have really piled up, and he has been all but cast aside in Nashville. Washington Commanders, slow defensive start. Jaden Daniels has been the story on offense, and he is doing his part, but that defense was supposed to be the backbone of this team, especially in a tough NFC East. It's going to be interesting to see if that is what holds them back come playoff time. But hey, what do you think the biggest disappointment for your favorite NFL team has been so far this season? What do you think we got right? What do you think we got wrong? Was there anything that we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, then clicking that like button helps out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.